So listening one, yep, there were both of you, also one and Bongdina. And let's read you the vocab. Bongdina, tell me what does the word adapt mean?
Adapt means you get used to.
Okay, get used to, very good. Adapt to something. And so what about the word crisis?
Crisis, crisis in dangerous or difficult.
All right, that's a difficult situation. Bongdina, how about the word field? Oh, fulfill. Mhm.
Oh, fulfill. What is the
Most of the parents are fulfilled when their kids have the happy family, getting good job, enough income. They are fulfilled.
fulfill mean happy,
Okay, satisfied, right? Satisfied.
satisfied. Yeah.
So, and how about the word considerably?
Considerably mean a lot.
A lot, right? Very much. Only now study.
Study mean uh,
You always
staying in the
okay.
staying the same time.
Right, staying at the same time or keep growing gradually or slowly, not going up so much or not going down so much. So man, how about the word justify?
Justify mean try to find a good reason.
All right, good explanation. Bon, curious.
Curious mean
Sometimes
wanting something, want to know
all
or
right.
learn something.
Okay, wanting to know something. So one, suffer.
Suffer, I mean suffer bad quality or was in quality.
All right, getting worse and worse. Bon, position.
Position, that means job.
Job. All right. So those are the vocabulary one from our listening one, and good job that you still remember most of the words. By the way, we also, on Sunday last week, we also talked about our listening one, changing expectation, and I hope you still remember the Gary life experiences, right? See trader and home care assistant. But I'm not going to review, those contents. This move on to our listening tool. So please go to page 63 and 64. You will see the vocabulary exercise. So you are going to choose the correct definition of the whole word. Okay? We have the word cope until wages. So check it out quickly, everyone. Okay, are you finished?
Yes.
All right, so let's get started. The first one, Bondina.
Um, Cobb, I think C, be happy.
Be happy. It can be very difficult for people working in low-paying jobs. Low-paying jobs. So when you see the word low-paying jobs, what problems can you feel or can you have?
Financial.
Financial, right? So you see the word low-paying job, it will be about financial problems. So cope will be also related to financial here. Manage financially. Financially. So basically the word cope means to deal with or to manage. But you can use in financial situation as well. For example, let's say a single parent always find it difficult to cope, because she or he has a daughter or sons to feed and other expenses. Okay. So when you use the word,
Oh, you can continue.
so when you use the word cope alone, like I said earlier, difficult to cope, it refers to financially managed. But if you add more context, it goes with another meaning of the meaning deal with. So let's say I am quite difficult to cope with this problem or to deal with these problems. All right. So one got a question.
Oh, I kind of confused sometimes between the word especially and basically.
Again, especially and
Basically.
basically. Nothing much different, basically and especially. So especially is something special. Basically, you refer to something that you want to emphasize, and basically the person already knows. For example, basically, you should come to class every day. So I think you know already that you should come to class every day. So use the word basically, but you should come class every day, especially Friday. So Friday is the most important. Okay.
Okay.
So basically and actually are the same. Actually, basically.
Yes, that's why I think I confused.
All right, so one number 2, exhausted.
Exhausted means you are already tired.
All right, that easy. I think I no need to have the example, right? Exhausted, because you already feel it. That's the one. I don't have to write the example. Sometimes you already feel that exhausted. The real example is for you. Molina, number 3. It's hard to truly understand someone's relation. Sometimes you need to experience it firsthand.
I think directly, yeah.
All right, directly, that's correct one. So sometimes we never understand how someone feels unless we feel it firsthand ourselves. Otherwise, especially let's say when you hear someone talking about their problem, some people will just say, okay, do this and do that. Or why is it a problem? It's just a small one, blah, blah. We never know that, right? 4, so one, informed.
Inform, I think it's serious.
Serious. You need to know all the facts before you can make an informed decision. So one, you can see the key or the context say that all the facts. So when you see the word, the context, all the facts here, is it related to anything here? Any in our definition?
The facts mean something true.
Something true. Look at our choices A, B, C. Which one is the closest to the word all the fact?
Yeah, I don't think it's related to that.
Serious?
Yes. Detail, educated? No, I think no.
All right. So informed here means detailed.
Detail.
All right, detail. So it is an adjective, right? It is an adjective, detailed information.
Oh,
Hmm?
I see.
So
Detailed
let's say, you see, when you, before you decide to do something, you should know or you should understand all the all informed sources or all informed what decision, right?
Decisions.
Wait. Okay, so this is this word I probably a bit new because we usually use it as the verb, right? I need to inform my student, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But in this case, you use it as an adjective, so a little bit strange, I guess, and you might find it weird too.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's a detail.
All right. Paulina, number 5, permanent.
I think this permanent mean attractive.
Permanent is attractive. Okay, well,
Yeah.
If you want to have the steady income, you must have a permanent job.
I know the word of permanent, but in this like sentence, I thought might be attractive.
Okay, but what does the word constant mean?
Constant mean like I pick content, but I think okay, take content then.
Okay, so I think you already know the word permanent, right? Like
I know the word permanent, yeah, but in this sentence, I thought maybe more attractive because he said he has a permanent smile. So
okay, so but you say the first clause, the first sentence, he say it says Agostino is always happy, always happy.
always,
Why?
yeah.
Why he is always happy? Because he has a permanent smile, not attractive smile. Permanent smile means he always smiles. So permanent is, you know, constant, always. I mean, right? Constant means always. Permanent is also always or last long. Okay. 6. So when research.
Research means studies.
All right, that easy. It is a noun, all right? It's a noun. For example, let's say, I'm going to do a research to find out how people survive without food. Right? I'm doing a study. Well, struggle.
Struggle mean have difficulty.
All right, have difficulty, right? Many students struggle to complete their writing on time. Difficulty to complete the writing on time. You can say struggle to do something or struggle with something. When I say struggle to complete writing on time or struggle with completing writing on time, right? Both are fine. This collocation. 8, as one, support themselves.
Support themselves mean take care of themselves.
That's easy, right? So I believe, you know, as one, you also can support yourself. 9, unemployed.
Jobless.
Jobless. Okay. You know, because of COVID-19, my brother was unemployed for 8 months. That is a true story. Last one, so one, wages.
Yes, I kind of confused between benefit and earning. I choose earning.
All right, that's correct, Savan. Wages means earning, right? Like the salary. However, in our country, we don't really use the word wage. We rather use the word salary. Normally, wage is calculated by hours. Right? Let's say, I think you know, like say in Australia, in the United States, you work and you are paid by hour, right? 1 hour, $10 or $8, something like that. That is called wage. That is not a salary. Salary pays monthly. For our country, we usually pay monthly, so that is the salary, not wage. Okay, so 10 vocab. Any question?
No, sir.
No, right, all clear. So let's get into our pronunciation very quickly. Number one, cope. Cope, not cop. Cop, means dead body. Cope. Number two, exhausted. Exhausted. Yes, it is a Z sound and it, not egg. Exhausted. Stress on. Exhaust. Number three, first hand. First hand. Stress on hand. Right? Stress on the last syllable. First hand. Four, informed. Informed. Also stress on form. Five, permanent. Stress on per. Research, stress on re, or either search. You can stress on search or stress on re. They are the same. Research or research. Seven, struggle. Stress on struggle. Eight, support themselves. Very easy. Nine, unemployed. Unemployed. Stress on employed. Last one is wage. Wage. Okay. Well, let's pronounce all the words again.
Cope, exhausted, first-hand, inform, permanent, research, struggle, support oneself, unemployed, wage.
Okay, perfect. Javan.
Cope, exhausted, first-hand, inform, permanent, research, struggle, support themselves, unemployed, wage.
So one number six again.
Number six, research.
Again, please.
Research.
All right. Okay, so now let's get to the practice of the vocab a little bit, just want to ensure your understanding of these words. And now let's go to your Google document. I already updated your Google Doc this morning. Bon, can you
I can't, sir.
I can, right?
I cannot.
So I just share the screen. So once you can get into your Google Doc and move to the Unit 3 listening tool in interview with Barbara, you will see the vocabulary exercise. Very quick and easy, 10 sentences, 10 words. So Bob, I will keep sharing the screen for you.
Thank you, sir.
Bigger. So too big. Okay, 10 sentences. You finished 10 sentences?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. 2 more minutes.
Finish, yeah.
All right, so one, you are done, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start number 1. Bong, please read the full sentence, include your answer.
It must be really hard to cope with 3 young children and a job.
All right, to cope with young children. Okay, so you usually say cope with something or someone, right? Deal with. So to cope with 3 children with a job. So cope here means financially manage. So it's hard. You have 3 kids and 1 job, so it's hard to cope with. 2, so one, the children.
The children ran round and round the playground until they were exhausted.
All right, until they were exhausted. Bong.
Number 3, most of the older reporter have experience were unemployed.
Were unemployed.
I'm not sure. Number 3.
Okay, well, look at the context. Older reporters. All right, older.
Yeah, older
and
reporter.
war. And they experience what? Do you think they experience war by reading books or experience wars by themselves?
By themselves.
Right? So because the context gives you the clue, old reporter, old people experience war by themselves. So what should be the appropriate word?
Support. No.
I think first hand.
First hand, right? Well, they experience war.
First hand. The adjective. Okay.
Adverb. So 1-4, the school promised.
The school promised to keep parents informed about the situation.
Okay, so I think I use the word inform here in the different context from the book. I keep a parent informed and keep parents updating the information or detailed info. Well, number 5.
Are you looking for a temporary or a permanent job?
Right. Are you looking for a temporary or a permanent job? 1.
He has dedicated his life to specific research. Scientific research.
All right, scientific research. Well,
I struggle to balance work and family
right. Commitment. All right, struggle to balance work and family. So he cannot balance work and family life. So 1, it's hard to.
It has to support yourself without From parents, from parents.
Right. So Savan, when do you stop receiving the help from parents, or when can you support yourself fully?
When I studied in year 3 in the university, I think for almost 5 years already.
All right. How old were you at the time?
20, 21 or 22.
All right. At the time you still were in the university, right?
Yes.
You got a job and you supported yourself.
Yeah.
Even the school fee?
School fee, no. School fee, I can handle on half.
All right, that's great. My parents fully supported me until I finished my study.
Yeah. Probably you don't focus on, looking for a job. You finish your college, you finish your university first.
Yeah, it's hard, for me, because I studied 2 universities. I studied morning and evening, so I was only available in the afternoon and I couldn't do anything. Bon, mine, he's been.
Yeah. Unemployed.
All right, that is unemployed.
He's been unemployed for over a year. He couldn't find any job.
At all. So one last one.
Wage. The job pays very low wage.
Low wage. So usually we use it as a plural form, wages, because as I told you, wage is paid by hour. Paid hourly. So you don't really work for 1 hour. Yep. So we usually use it in plural form. All right. So this is the vocabulary in our listening tool, and I don't think it's difficult. You all got the vocab, and now let's move to our listening. Okay. So listening to an interview with Barbara Ehrenreich. I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly. Barbara Ehrenreich. I don't know. So she is a well-known journalist and author. Journalist, and after that she wrote a book. Not a book, but a few books. And she changed. She changed a lot. She changed a lot. Let's listen to her life. But before we go to the listening, let me ask you a real quick question. Bon, do you think journalist needs to go undercover? You know the word undercover?
No.
No, undercover, for example, I am a police officer and I go undercover to the drug dealer place to find out information, blah, blah, blah.
Undercover.
So do you think journalists need to go undercover?
Yeah.
In what situation? Why?
In the if they want to get a serious report from government or any like dodgy company, so they need to uncover. All right.
So yeah. Yep. Sometimes they need to go undercover if they want to have a really confidential information from some agent, right? So what do you think so?
No, I think so, because I think if you go undercover, without informing anyone else, I think it's not
legal.
Yeah, it's not legal.
Okay, so let's listen to Barbara. She went undercover, but not in government sector or FBI or CIA or something. Let's listen to her. She also talked about her 2 books. One is Nickel and Dime, and another one is Bait and Switch. So I want you to listen to her experience and note down as much information as possible. You can see the note. The note here is too little. So I want you to write more than this, note more than this note. Okay. Or wait, let me check quickly. Okay, so now let's start. So listen carefully and take good notes. Let's start.
Unit 3, Listening 2. Activity C.
So, Barbara, welcome to Life and Times. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here, Jack. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, you're famous as a journalist, and of course, you've written several books based on your research. We'll get to those in a minute. But could you start by telling our listeners some of the reasons why you go undercover for your research?
Sure. Well, interviews are fine, but sometimes you need to experience something firsthand to understand it. So I guess what I'm saying is that being an undercover reporter is a good way to find out what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
By putting yourself in the situation you're investigating, you can then write about your experience from a more informed point of view.
I see. So, for Nickel and Dimed, where did you go undercover?
Well, the aim was to see if I could support myself in low-paid jobs. So I worked as a waitress, a hotel housekeeper, a maid, a nursing home assistant, and a supermarket clerk. I spent a month in each job, working in Florida, Maine, and Minnesota.
Wow, that's a lot of different jobs and places. I guess your life changed completely during that period, right?
It sure did. And boy, I learned a lot. It was amazing.
Really? What exactly did you find out?
Well, first, that it was very difficult indeed to cope, financially on such low wages. The rents were very high and the wages were so low. These people really struggle. Also, you have to be a hard worker. I mean, some of the jobs I was doing left me feeling physically exhausted, especially when I had to work 2 jobs in a day. Interviewing people is one thing, but actually doing the job day to day shows you exactly how hard these people's lives are.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, Nickel and Dimed went on to be a very popular book. It was a New York Times bestseller.
Yes, I was really surprised at all the interest. I think it really opened people's eyes, a first-hand account like that. People in low-paid jobs like those aren't lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They work long, hard hours just to survive.
Did you change your name when you went undercover?
For Nickel and Dimed, I didn't change my name, but I did for my next project, Bait and Switch. I wanted to see how easy it was for people with pretty good jobs who became unemployed to find another job at the same level. So I went undercover as a white-collar public relations executive looking for work. I tried really hard with a great resume that told everyone that I had lots of experience and all that, but I couldn't find any work. It really highlighted to me how hard life can be for people at all levels, from unskilled manual workers to white-collar management.
Mm-hmm. So I guess in both cases, for Nickel and Dimed and Bait and Switch, you were pleased that the changes you made weren't permanent? I mean, you didn't ever want to carry on in one of those jobs.
No way. I just got a brief look at people's lives there, and by the time I finished, I realized how lucky I was. I was so relieved not to be in that kind of situation long term.
Mm-hmm. Well, listeners, we're going to take a short break, but if you have a question for Barbara, now's the time. So get on the phone and call. We've got to...
All right, so I hope you already received some information, but maybe not full yet. Let's listen one more time, get more detail.
Unit 3, Listening 2. Activity C.
So, Barbara, welcome to Life and Times. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here, Jack. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, you're famous as a journalist, and of course, you've written several books based on your research. We'll get to those in a minute, but could you start by telling our listeners some of the reasons why you go undercover for your research?
Sure. Well, interviews are fine, but sometimes you need to experience something firsthand to understand it. So I guess what I'm saying is that being an undercover reporter is a good way to find out what's really going on. By putting yourself in the situation you're investigating, you can then write about your experience from a more informed point of view.
I see. So, for Nickel and Dimed, where did you go undercover?
Well, the aim was to see if I could support myself in low-paid jobs. So I worked as a waitress, a hotel housekeeper, a maid, a nursing home assistant, and a supermarket clerk. I spent a month in each job, working in Florida, Maine, and Minnesota.
Wow, that's a lot of different jobs and places. I guess your life changed completely during that period, right?
It sure did. And boy, I learned a lot. It was amazing.
Really? What exactly did you find out?
Well, first, that it was very difficult indeed to cope, financially on such low wages. The rents were very high and the wages were so low. These people really struggle. Also, you have to be a hard worker. I mean, some of the jobs I was doing left me feeling physically exhausted, especially when I had to work 2 jobs in a day. Interviewing people is one thing, but actually doing the job day to day shows you exactly how hard these people's lives are.
And, of course, Nickel and Dimed went on to be a very popular book. It was a New York Times bestseller.
Yes, I was really surprised at all the interest. I think it really opened people's eyes, a first-hand account like that. People in low-paid jobs like those aren't lazy. They work long, hard hours just to survive.
Did you change your name when you went undercover?
For Nickel and Dimed, I didn't change my name, but I did for my next project, Bait and Switch. I wanted to see how easy it was for people with pretty good jobs who became unemployed to find another job at the same level. So I went undercover as a white-collar public relations executive looking for work. I tried really hard with a great resume that told everyone that I had lots of experience and all that, but I couldn't find any work. It really highlighted to me how hard life can be for people at all levels, from unskilled manual workers to white-collar management.
So I guess in both cases, for Nickel and Dimed and Bait and Switch, you were pleased that the changes you made weren't permanent? I mean, you didn't ever want to carry on in one of those jobs.
No way. I just got a brief look at people's lives there, and by the time I finished, I realized how lucky I was. I was so relieved not to be in that kind of situation long term.
Well, listeners, we're going to take a short break, but if you have a question for Barbara, now's the time. So get on the phone and call. We've got to...
Okay, so now you know that why did Barbara went undercover, go undercover? Not about a serious report from the government or whatever, but she wanted to find out the life of people. So let's get into our listening one more time. I will just ask you the question from the interviewer and you will need to give me the answer, right? So Samantha, start first. Where did she go undercover?
Oh, you mean Barbara? Oh, I'm not okay that actually.
for nickel and dime, where did she go undercover?
I don't know exactly.
Well, Malina,
Because
where did
yeah,
she-
I not noticed that.
Malina, for nickel and dime, where did she go undercover?
She under the cover. What do you call? First hand, she want to know a real hard work from lower pay.
Mhm.
So she under the cover to be a waitress,
All right.
a hotel clerk,
Okay.
as a supermarket clerk,
Mhm.
and the maid.
All right. The maid.
Yep.
How long for each job?
How long? I didn't get that.
Oh, yeah, 1 month. 1 month.
1 month. Okay.
Kept changing the places from Florida to Maine and to Minnesota. So in the Nickel and Dime, I mean the book, her book Nickel and Dime, she went undercover to see if she could support herself in the low-paid jobs. So like Molina said, she worked as a waitress, hotel housekeeper, a maid, nursing assistant, supermarket clerk, and she spent 1 month for each job working in Florida, Maine, and Minnesota. Right? And so what did she find out? What exactly did she find out from those jobs?
First, she find out that it's a hard worker feeling. I mean, she feel exhausted or something like that, and she, I mean, calm. The financial issue.
All right. So how many jobs did she do per day?
She do 2 jobs
All right.
a day.
Okay. So she found out that it's so difficult to cope, financially when you have a very low-paying job. Good. So she did 2 jobs at one day, like one job, and then left, and then went to another job, and she was so physically exhausted. And then now she understood how the life of people when they are doing the local job. Right, so this is the Nickel and Dime, one book, and that book became one of the very popular book in. It also was a New York Times bestseller as well, because people were so surprised to see the people's life there. We never experienced that firsthand by ourselves, so we might not have the idea. That's why she went undercover. And she also mentioned that people were not lazy, right? They were not lazy, but they just worked long hour, harder, but the income was little. Well, did she change her name when she went undercover?
For Nick and Dime, she didn't change her name.
So she did in her next project, Bait and Switch.
Bait and Switch, yeah.
Bait and Switch. So, tell me, what was Bait and Switch about?
Bait and Switch, it sounds like they both have a very high senior position,
right?
And then they have no job, unemployed, and then they looking for a position which is the same as previous.
Right. What was okay? So what did she find out about that?
She find out that it's really hard to find another job that I mean, how to say?
Executive.
So
it's a higher level, and then she try to tell people that she has a lot of experience.
Okay, that's true. So For Nicole and Dime, she went undercover and worked as a low-paying job worker, right? And then she did another experiment, and her book was Bait and Switch. So bait and switch means she pretended as a white collar worker. You know the word white collar? Let me show.
High position.
Okay. So it is the comparison. So white collar here refers, you know the word color here. White
Yeah.
collar it refers to the high position or top management in the society. And so for in the Bait and Switch project, she pretended to be a white collar worker but was unemployed, right? So she did she made a very great resume, great experience, and everything was perfect. Sadly, she couldn't find a job. So, and now she understood that even though you are in a very high position, it doesn't guarantee that you can get a good job all the time. For the low paid job, you can get a job, but it's low pay. For white collar job, you cannot get a job easily because it's high pay job. Right? So, so what do you think she wanted to work, change? She wanted to change to that job?
I think no.
No, all right. And she was so pleased and so thankful that she had a permanent, good job and good income. Otherwise she would experience and face the struggle.
Yes, that's why some people, in the real life, they feel to stay in that, this comfort zone. Traveling something.
It reminds me of the first time that I got into the job market. I think I already told you once that I used to work in the private company. And in that company, I was so surprised. Honestly speaking, I was so surprised when I heard that many people in that company work in the same place more than 15 years. Some 15 years, some 17. The manager was 22 years there.
Yeah.
So if she still works now in that company, wait, it should be 20. How many years?
25, 24.
No, because I left that company in 2016. So if the manager still works until now, she works there like 28 years.
Oh.
I was so shocked, to hear that not only her, but lots of employees there work for so many years. And what I found out is most of them were female. Okay? So, and then I started, I didn't think much about that, but after I left that company and then I started to reconsider why, I just found out that probably, they found, those female workers, they found their comfort zone. Maybe the job gives them proper income and the job was quite easy for them. I don't know, it's just my idea. That's why they didn't want to leave. Who knows, when you leave the job, you find another new job, but the new job doesn't guarantee your income, doesn't guarantee anything at all. Maybe it's the reason. Yeah. And then I told you earlier that my brother was unemployed during COVID-19 for 8 months, right? The problem was like that. He switched the job. In 2 years, he switched 3 jobs. To move up, and the problem happened. The last company didn't give him a proper, income, the proper security.
Yes, but momentum, something good, something bad. If you go to the right place, yes.
We always talk about change. Sometimes change is good, sometimes change is not good. All right. How about Bonlina? What do you think about those changes? Changing in work. What do you think? Should we stick to
Um,
one job, or should we stick? We keep changing, or what?
for my best experience,
Mhm.
normally I don't like to work
Uh-huh.
any job more than 3 years.
Oh, right.
I think 3 to 5 years is enough experience for one job.
Mhm.
For my based on my experience and then for my advice, I think you should change each job by maybe between 3 to 5 years. And then if you change your job in between that time, you will improve your skill, your knowledge as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you-
totally agree. Yeah.
If you stuck in one job, you never have any other experience.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
You got you received everything already.
Yeah.
All right. That questions me, Bong, because I have been here in energy like more than 5 years now.
Yeah, maybe you don't change your teaching skill, but you might be change the schools,
I also think about that.
Yeah, like now you teaching an edit, but maybe next time you're teaching at international school, something like that, and then keep your skill.
What I think is, let's say I change the place, I change to another school.
Yeah,
What can I do besides teaching?
but that's your skill, Charles.
It's still teaching. So I
Yeah.
believe that, teaching is different from other jobs, because teaching, you may still in the place, and if you change the place, you still teach. However, you will be improved by students. You got what I mean? They say, this time I teach this type of student, and this type of people, this type of student. So next time probably I will receive or will teach another type of student.
Yes.
I will learn different skills in order to deal with different types of people. That's how I think of my career. That's why I have no plan to change the career at all. If I don't want to teach here, I just stop teaching and I just stop. I'm not going to teach, in another school. This is my career plan. Because just like I said, even though I change to another place, I still do the same thing and teach. Nothing much different from here, from place to place. But maybe it depends on the salary or whatever. But I don't think salary is the most important for my most important factor for my career plan. So yeah, that's why I stick here until now.
I think because you meet you meet a new people every
Mhm.
time.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you don't feel, you don't feel it. I'm not sure about the position when
Yeah, yeah.
change to another school, but in my career, when you change, when people decided to change to another workplace, the position will be up and
Yeah,
the
correct.
salary increase. Highly increase.
Sure, that is true. That's why I always keep reminding myself that the career in education, or just particularly teacher, is so different from other jobs. So different. One of my friend, she was my classmate in the university, so we started teaching together. And at the same time, she also was the teacher at that time, when we were in university. And after we finished the university, she stopped teaching and she turned her career to be, I think, in auditor in a company, because she also has another degree. And when we talked, because she and I did something oppositely. She switched from teachers to be a company employee, while I switched from working in a company to be a teacher. Yeah, opposite. So we talked, and I asked her why, and she gave me a very honest response, and it was so true. She said that after teaching in the school for 5 years, what can you see yourself? Yep, it's true that after 5 years you are still a teacher, right? You started being a teacher, and then you still a teacher after 5 or 10 years while working in a company, just like you said, Sivan, you keep growing up, right? Yeah, keep growing up, and if your performance is so high, maybe you climb to your top position, or a top management level in the company. Yeah, that is true. And we have the keyword for that kind of term. I'm not quite sure. It's like climbing the ladder, or break the ceiling, something. In teaching career, there's no ceiling to break. I mean, there's no thing to climb. You teach and teach and teach. That's it. But for company or for whatever other job, yep, you have the position, go up and up all the time.
But I mean, every person have their own choice,
That's true.
and they decide to do that, and it's not right or wrong. And I mean, if you decide to do that, I mean, don't follow other people saying, because other people saying around you, they just want to say what they want to say.
That's right. That's right. That's why I always, really appreciate my team. The youngster, the young teachers, that they come here and they really put effort in teaching. As you know, teaching gives you not so many advantages comparing to other jobs. But skill, yep, I would say skill. People skill, teaching gives you more. we deal with all types of people.
Yes, and I'm really appreciate teachers, because I mean, it's good for yourself. You can do it, but teaching other people to be a good, it's very hard, very difficult.
All right. Yeah, that is the key. My company, my brother used to be against me. Like he didn't really approve, or he was not so happy when I changed the career to be the teacher. It's true. But it's fine, it's my career, my plan, my choice. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be the teacher.
Yes.
All right. So this is about Barbara, who went undercover, to find out the people's life. So Molina, because you said that between 3 to 5 years, people or workers should change the place, or should change the career, or should change the job, because it's enough, right? Do you think it's easy? It is really easy to switch like that?
It depends. I think for me, depend how smart you are.
All right.
Yeah, like if like only me, like I won't work any longer than 5 years before I find out after 5 years so boring. So normally I take like a year before I resign and go for another one.
So you have a long-term plan then?
Yeah. For me, you can say, like, for me, working like community more important than salary. Because when you have a good relationship at work, it's make you feel more happier than your salary.
That is so true.
Yeah. If I have like a crap boss, I resign straight away. I'm not staying there for stress out,
Yeah.
Good.
Because I think you don't have any what we call some beard. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have any pressures, and then you decide to leave. But some people, they have, a bank loan, they need to pay a loan. Yes, something like that. That's why they decide.
Talking about that, I remember clearly one of my students that I think I talked about him, that he was not happy at all with his job, but he still kept doing the same job. And I talked to him, and he said, he worked overtime, and like he said, there was so many things to do, and he was so stressed out because he came to class without preparing anything at all. So I figured out, so I asked him and talked to him personally, and I just gave him the advice that if you are not happy with the job, trust me, just leave or quit as soon as possible. And just like Saban said, he gave me tons of reasons to stay or to keep the job. And what I found out is most of the reason is about financial issue. So he said that if he leave the job, he doesn't have any income, and we cannot guarantee that he will get a job, another new job right away, right? So
Yeah.
he will not have enough income to support or to pay. So again, I'm not quite sure about his financial situation, but it was just my suggestion. I believe that you have been working there for like many years, for a few years. You might have some saving, even though it's not much. Have some saving, and maybe you can just spend. I'm not asking you to stop forever, just stop here and then find out your passion, what you like, for like 1 or 2 weeks or a month, the most of 3 months, the max. So after you found out your passion or what you really like, go for it, right? And I don't know what happened next, but because he stopped, not stopped, but because we were not in the class anymore. So after a while, I saw him posting on Facebook. He got a new job in new place, and he seemed like he was quite more happier in the new place. I'm not quite sure because I didn't meet him anymore. If he followed my suggestion at that time and he did it successfully, yeah, I think he made the right decision, the right choice.
Yeah.
Yep. I know if someone asking for advice talking about job or whatever, I always ask them to quit if they are not happy. This is my only advice. Because I believe, money is not the important thing for you to keep you happy.
Yeah, I agree, sure.
Sure. All right. So now we are done with our listening too, and I want to go to the grammar a little bit. Tag questions. I believe, I think this grammar, this point you ready? Tag question, and it is so common in speaking. So common in speaking. For example, let's say you want to ask one person if they agree with you. Do you really need to say, do you agree with me all the time? We don't, right? So where is my whiteboard? Okay. So for example, let's say I ask the one we'll go to the party. Have you ever seen this type of question?
Yeah.
Right? That we call tag question. Tag question. That is called tag question. So the clue or the key of tag question or the use of tag question, you normally use it in speaking. So when you speak, you use it a lot. And what you need to be very careful is, so tag question always comes with modal verb or auxiliary verb, right? Like will, do, may, might, can, right? And it's easy, right? It's easy when, okay, let me highlight first. This is called tag question. So as you can see, what modal verb do I use in tag question?
Will.
Will, right? What modal verb do I use in statement?
Will as well.
Also will, right? So what you need to remember is the modal verb in tag question must be consistent with the modal verb in the the modal verb in tag question must be consistent to the modal verb in the statement. And what I do will here. Okay. So when I say consistent, means if you use will, the tag question also using tag will as well. However, in opposite form, right? Opposite form. So in statement you use it positive, tag question you use it positive, negative. opposite. So opposite. So this one will be
Can.
Opposite, right? Positive, this one is negative. This one is negative. Tag question is positive. All right, this is called tag question. And how about if the tag question doesn't have any auxiliary verb? What should I use here? There are no auxiliary verb, no modal verbs. What should I use in tag question?
Say,
Does.
isn't
Right, dash. So remember, there is no auxiliary verb. We use always does or do. Do or does depends on the subject. Doesn't. Okay. That's it. Very easy. How about this one? Another few more examples. Should you, right? Should you? Okay. What something that you must be careful is this one. Okay. So what is the tag question? This is the little bit again.
I think wouldn't.
Wooden. Oh,
Yeah, I think wouldn't.
all right. So when you use would, what verb should you use with would? Okay.
What verb?
Let's say
Right.
all right. You see, the form of verbs are different, right?
Yeah.
Different. This one is base form of verb.
Mhm.
That is. Right. So after apostrophe D is base form of verb, it's would. It means would. But after D, apostrophe D, and it is past tense, see, ed, it means had. So look at the verb. Right? Look at the verb. They are different, and be careful. You are quite confused easily if you don't see or you don't know the trick or the key. All right, and otherwise you will confuse between would and had.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
clear.
every past tense word that always had
That we call past perfect verb.
past perfect.
I had eaten dinner. Not past tense verb. This one basically it is the verb past participle, and in short we call verb 3.
I had ហ្នឹង kheng past tense ហើយមិនបានដាក់ eaten ទៀត
Past perfect verb. បង present perfect យើងប្រើមិនទេ present perfect ទេ
present perfect I have eating
មានបាន eating eaten
eaten
ខ្ញុំ present perfect តម្រងគេគឺ have plus verb កន្លងទី3 verb កន្លងទី3ណាអញ្ចឹង verb កន្លងទី3មិនទៅ eat កន្លងទី1 ate កន្លងទី2 eaten កន្លងទី3ណាដែលភាសាបច្ចេកទេសគឺអានេះ present ធម្មតាកន្លងទី1កន្លងទី2 past simple កន្លងទី3 past participle ណាអញ្ចឹងដល់ទៅពេលអានេះគេហៅ present simple យើងប្រើ have ណា present perfect យើងប្រើ have ដល់ទៅពេលនេះវិញ past perfect យើងប្រើ had past yep, I think you haven't learned about this yet. but I think
Yeah.
maybe next level or I'm not sure, but we will have this one as a lesson. ទេអញ្ចឹងចំណុចមួយនេះខ្ញុំគាត់តែចង់បញ្ជាក់បន្តិចថាពីក្រោយ D នេះ apostrophe D ដែលគេសរសេរកាត់អញ្ចឹងត្រូវតែមើល verb នោះនៅក្នុងទម្រង់មួយណាបើវាជាទម្រង់ base form of verb យើងប្រើអាហ្នឹងឯងគឺជា would បើវាក្នុងទម្រង់ past participle verb កន្លងទី3អានេះគឺជា had. Alright, clear, huh?
Okay, yes.
That's great. And how about this one? How about I use it in past simple? Huh? Sorry, you received the email. What is it?
Did you?
Again?
Did you?
Did or didn't?
I didn't.
Didn't you, right? អញ្ចឹង past simple ដូចគ្នាទេយើងប្រើ auxiliary verb do ឬក៏ dash ចូលគ្នាចូលមក Okay, is everything clear បងនេះណា
No, sir. អាហ្នឹងមិនបានយើងអត់ប្រើ does.
ដោយសារវា
You
past
receive.
នេះបង receive យើងប្រើ past simple បង
វា pass.
ហ្នឹងហើយ
Okay.
past simple យើងមិនដូរ dash មក did វិញ
Okay. And then no see right. The
See, right?
letter
ហ្នឹងហើយ
doesn't see.
present simple.
Present.
Alright,
Okay, so I got it.
Okay, clear right? អញ្ចឹងអ្វីដែលយើងត្រូវចំណាំយើងត្រូវតែមើលតែ modal ឬក៏ auxiliary verb នេះបើគេមាន modal ឬ auxiliary verb យើងប្រើ tag question ដាក់ដូចគ្នាមកគាត់ថាទម្រង់វាផ្ទុយគ្នាបដិសេធស្រោបើអត់មាន modal
Can you highlight? So can you highlight on that past and present for me? And then I have short screen.
បងoverload ចឹងនេះ present
Yeah.
present past past ចឹងខ្ញុំ highlight modal verb ដែលអ្នកទាំងនេះត្រូវតែចំណាំមើលពីដែលយើងប្រើ tag question យើងត្រូវតែសួរបែបហ្នឹងចឹងត្រូវតែ modal verb បើយើងមាន mode ប៉ុន្តែឥឡូវ the question is what is a modal verb ណាបើកុំតតែបានហ្នឹងឥឡូវខ្ញុំ flex សួរ modal verb ហ្នឹងអីគេនេះមានអីខ្លះ modal verb you have can should might may right will អាហ្នឹងសិតតែ modal verb ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងបើក្នុងទម្រង់បើក្នុងប្រយោគរបស់យើងអត់មាន modal verb ទេយើងត្រូវតែមើលទៅលើ verb របស់យើងតើ verb ហ្នឹង past simple present simple ឬក៏អីបើវាជា past simple យើងប្រើ did ទៅ present simple យើងប្រើ dash ទៅ dash ឬក៏ do ទៅ Okay, this is the summary. Clear? Well, are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now let's move on to another one. And it
Sure.
could-
I kind of confused present simple and we mean verb to be a teacher no? So I mean in the sentence you can use verb with the verb, right?
Chị Hồ. Verb to be nữa. She is.
She is a student.
Okay, she is a student. All right. Chẳng
Yeah.
những hợp với này.
Isn't she?
She. Như verb to be nhưng phở là verb to be này. Đó. Chẳng tùm rung với ní cứ đời sao vì ông biên A vô mà phở ba. Dương anh ai vậy thà write not he she ban đi đấy. Chẳng thấy bạn dương đu được cả mà chẳng đùa. Bạn thấy sẽ bạn ní nhưng mình verb to be dương ai phở verb to be không tùm rung phải là sẽ bạn. Isn't we go an này chẳng thấy. Tụi bởi vì chưa present simple được nhiều cái đó, tại vì mình verb to be màu chúng mình chắc đôi khi cho mình past simple là you were not you were not a student, were you?
Yes.
Chẳng bờ nó clear nhưng tôi cho này tiếp lại very tricky mình thao chậm lắm như chậm lắm mình đến how sao thì chắc cứ thôi ở tại đây including some teachers yeah bon.
Can you give me one sentence, negative sentence? You receive an email nâng tới chỉ negative when
Dân này thiếu dân phải đi đến bằng đấy. Đấy. You didn't receive email. Chứ nào bây giờ nắng negative anh ấy tag question tới gì? Positive.
Yeah. Did you?
Did you? Right? Is everything good now?
okay but
Cho bởi nhóm trong hợp với chia tầm độ present simple vậy. Đi đến tới gì?
Did.
you are
Don't present simple.
Yeah, simple, very simple.
Sorry, do you? Any question? Get it? No?
I think no for me.
Okay. Well, anything more? Okay. Okay, but I mean confession thế mà là teacher ta gần này mùi. They're very tricky. Trong class. Okay. Ủa bọn mình đang come back. Lấy dương chắc hợp về tag question này. Right? You can use tag question. So now let's move on to another point, and it's so tricky and confusing that lots of students cannot make it, as well as some teachers. Dễ cho lòng, including me, sometimes. Tiếng khác cho lòng này. Chứ anh em lục này chào sẵn. Nó sẽ thì họ mấy. Let's say you mean tag question, but how do you answer the question? So when you are a student and you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Okay. Lina, you don't have any kids, do you? How do you answer this question? You don't have any kids, do you?
I have.
Bón thầy cho yes or no.
Okay. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do nó bao nhiêu này thế?
I think no. No.
Okay, this is very tricky. Bao sầm nô dương nhỉ? Bao sầm nô dương chỉ positive chứ ở đây gì? Còn ta chỉ negative chứ? Ta dân cô cho lại bạn nè. Lấy bóng Lina, but yes, I do. So when you think no, I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, I don't. Just trick nè, tag question cứ bị tricky cái này đấy, cái hợp negative statement, how tag question cái positive với nhé, dương slau dương đằng slau swap từ này, đứa có swap từ ngoài này, right? That's the point. Chẳng nơi bên này đang nói slau tag question á, tăngประโยคนี้đôi khi nè, ca slau đôi khi nè, bạch qua vì hướng kia xua positive được cái này thiếu thì trong lái bao dương mạnh bờ miếng nhưng slau miếng dương bắt được sলাই on.
Based on true story.
True story based on
yeah.
So bong Lina, yes I do. thửណាបងលីណាគាត់ឆ្លើយចឹងត្រូវដោយសារគាត់មានប៉ុន្តែបើសវណ្ណអត់ទាន់មាន No
No, I don't. It's not right or wrong.
សវណ្ណមិន No I don't វិញ I think you answer both for បងលីណា situation right not your own
Situation.
Okay so remember that ណាការឆ្លើយសំណួរ tag question អត់ខ្វល់ពីសំណួរគេនឹង positive ឬ negative ទេមិនខ្វល់ទេបែរទៅលើខ្លួនឯងចម្លើយយើង yes គឺ yes ចម្លើយយើង no គឺ no តោះណាអបជូមកYou haven't finished your writings, have you?
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have មានន័យថាសវណ្ណបានបញ្ចប់ writing រួចហើយ
Oh, I see.
ហ៎
It's
តាមណា
shit.
ឆ្លើយទៅតាមចម្លើយជាក់ស្ដែងរបស់យើងធ្វើហើយយើង yes យើងអត់ទាន់ធ្វើយើង no
Oh, okay.
អញ្ចឹង like នេះ no
No. Oh.
alright អញ្ចឹងthat's why I kept saying that this tag question is tricky when you answer ជាពិសេសគឺអា negative អញ្ចឹងបងនេះណាមួយទៀតYou haven't done the quiz, have you?
No, I haven't.
បងធ្វើ quiz này.
Quiz là chắc thứ hai vậy.
Cho mìnhបងថា
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Remember, based on your real situation, one of few more. So it is. So I sẽ đọc cho lòng. So one, you didn't eat lunch yesterday, did you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I
Yes, I am.
did. Đấy, some đồ kia did đấy, nhưng did I? All right, better. Let's start. Let's try with one now. One more. Bon.
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay. Tổ nữa nè, cho bài. Đã khỏi tập lịch đấy. Okay. I want just to go to this one a little bit. Hey, mà phát không thời gian exercise A nè. Tại vì nó không miên không NH online này mình phải nhầm trong check một tí là này tao mới vừa thử understand type question completely or not. So Bonina, you will handle the odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7. And so on, you will look at the even numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8. Use tag question. Give me 1 minute.
Which page, teacher?
Page 68 and 69. 68, you will see exercise A. Huh? So again, Bonlina, odd number, like set, and so on, you are even numbers, like cool. See it?
Teacher.
Right. All right. So I think we can start, right? Now, Molina.
Rachel. You are a journalist, aren't you?
All
Yes,
right.
I am.
Correct. The one.
Simon never works on the weekend. Don't he?
Bạch Anh
Yeah, doesn't he?
Hiện thì tôi tới canh ở trong mạch tiếp. Molina 3.
They got married, didn't they?
All
Yes,
right,
they
very
did.
good one, right? Didn't they? Past simple.
Yeah.
4.
It's important to have a good friend, isn't it?
Isn't it? Okay, correct. Well,
Susan should see her family more often. Should she?
should she or shouldn't she?
Shouldn't. I write shouldn't she?
No.
Shouldn't she?
I actually wrote shouldn't, but I just pronounced wrong. So it was a mistake. Okay, Savan.
Albert and Gary don't have permanent jobs, do they?
All right, very good. Bon.
Valeria came from France. Did she? Did she?
Did or didn't?
Didn't.
All right, didn't she? You can either pronounce didn't or didn't. Last one.
We can afford an overseas vacation this year, can we?
All right, very good. So this is the grammar tag question, right? Tag question. And any question more with our grammar part here today?
I have to. I'm getting confused with using do and have.
Do and have.
Yeah.
Why? I don't think that is a confusion. Okay, let me give you a few more examples. So, Bon, you will use do. Do ឬក៏ did the same ណា អាហ្នឹងវាជាសងលើ tense ហើយ present ឬក៏ past បើយើងប្រើ have លុះត្រាតែប្រយោគរបស់យើងមាន have ដែរឧទាហរណ៍ you have finished your ចឹង have ហ្នឹងវាជាផ្នែកមួយរបស់ verb របស់យើងអញ្ចឹងយើងអាចយកហ្នឹងមកធ្វើជា tag question បានសម្រាប់អានេះវាអត់មានអញ្ចឹងយើងក៏ did ឬក៏ do ទៅ You have the question. Okay បង let me clarify your question បងមានចម្ងល់ពីរឿងការប្រើប្រាស់ tag question រវាង have និង do ឬក៏បងអត់ទាន់យល់ពីការប្រើប្រាស់ have និងអត់ have
ចង់ថាមិនមែនជា tag question ទេចង់និយាយថាពេលដែលយើងរៀប sentence មួយយើងអត់ដឹងច្បាស់ថាយើងត្រូវប្រើ do ឬប្រើ have
អូខេអញ្ចឹង do បងដឹងហើយណា do present simple
Yeah
អាហ្នឹងយើងចេះហើយ present simple ឧទាហរណ៍ I don't go to school ឯណាចឹងអ្វីដែលបងកំពុងតែមានបញ្ហាគឺបងអត់ទាន់ច្បាស់អំពីគេហៅថា present perfect អាហ្នឹង very easy ខ្ញុំនិយាយតែមួយម៉ាត់បងយល់អញ្ចឹង present perfect ចាំតែ key មួយបានហើយបងកុំចាំច្រើនចាំតែច្រើនបងអត់ចាំវិញណាអញ្ចឹងបងត្រូវតែចាំគ្រាន់តែចាំថា present perfect ហ្នឹងមានន័យថាសកម្មភាពហ្នឹងកើតឡើងនៅក្នុងអតីតកាលហើយបន្តចូលមកដល់បច្ចុប្បន្នកាលឬក៏កើតឡើងក្នុងអតីតកាលទើបតែបញ្ចប់មិញហ្នឹងបងណា
ហ្នឹងthì continue ដែរតែចុះ
no not continue មកលើទី1ទីហោណា I have written I have read okay I have read 3 books this month ខ្ញុំបានអានសៀវភៅ3ក្បាលនៅក្នុងខែហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងខែហ្នឹងចប់ហើយ
Chop rồi.
Nghĩ khả năng mình toàn chọc đó bóng tầm ngày đồng buồn
I
này.
have read read 3 books this month.
Yeah, chứ là cả một việc dương nó nơi tại ai tập to là hốt chẳng. Chứ chập đam sẽ thấy chập đam bị các bạn thì muối má bài chạy đàm khẻ đó, đàm khẻ. Bạn thì pì, lấy nữa. Khoảng ấy nó dưa cặp bông té, dưa bạn bay cái ba này, mình chẳng khai nó ở con chập thì viên nơi tại ai khai lang to từ tiền. Còn nhom dễ bóng. Con tay bởi bóng sẽ cho mình. I am reading 3 book. Ý là bóng vậy thay present continue ở mình nhé.
Yeah.
Không nè. Nhóm còn bông tại A sẽ phải bay cái ba chẳng nguyên tháng. Bay cái ba không tía. Gây tại mùi. Chẳng không biết này. Anh ấy cái cạt lang to này. Chọc mỗi chỗ mùi. Anh ấy ọt to nè. Cạt lang không về tại mùi không. Reading. Cái bông vừa lời nè. Liềm. Okay.
Okay.
You have finished your job. Nè anh thưa cá chọc thử. Chẳng chọc đang thưa cá mong thèm mà tì hồ. Chọc đang là đi mà lấy mong đọc bì. Chọc đang thưa cá mong phòng bầy. Là lấy mong đọc đi nhưng siêu quật. Thưa cá chọc này. Tầm trọng này. Chẳng I have finished. Tầm trọng. Liềm. Hồi xa dương chọc đang bị phật mong đó là. Chẳng chọc đang bị tại cáo. Bà to cho mà đó bắt chọc bọn cá. Chẳng bà to cho mà nó chung cá. Bà to cho mà nó chọc bìa bắt chọc bọn cá như cặp bông giấy nữa. Tụm chọc liềm đó. Rồi có vì anh miên học các và to từ là cột tiện đổi ở đây chưa anh miên và to tiện rồi có chọc thầm nhằng ấp đằng này ấp cho bạn này to nó bóng anh đang present perfect.
Okay.
Ở đây cái rồi anh đang bởi dương về số startup present perfect cứ dương về bị bỏ phía sau bóng tại bạn ta bóng tại đã lên ban làm T2 thì khó đấy bóng tại ban học tỷ. Đấy, chẳng bọn tự làm bọc bọc 6 này nè. I have shifted 10. Chẳng số thằng này khỏi bọn anh tới tiền đó. Nơi tầm miền là các tới to tiền chứ. Ở toàn phải chọc đi. Ở toàn phải chọc cả ra lấy lưu tại bọn cho thể. Bảo bọn phải chọc cả ra lấy thôi. Chẳng thả là bất thầm năng dùng chụp ta thế này. Đấy. Ok. Chẳng past simple nó past simple như này tháng dương mình bắt to từ tiệt thì phải chọc thầm này phải chọc thầm tiền này anh ấy perfect present perfect anh ấy to thầm tiền to từ một tiệt bạn to này bóng
to này chưa
này chẳng chỉ tôi tới sang mà trình luận thống cái cột trở lại mà nè toàn đâm thả tá past simple nó tờ rồi present perfect nó không niềm mất hay perfect này thì chứ là lấy anh ấy nhưng mà summarize rồi start past simple và chọn rồi cho cả một việc nó còn ai to từ tiết đi mình ai thôi ban đi bật chi thằng này present perfect cả lá pi ở tay tất cả đôi cái này ở tay ai cả ngày khỏi tiết nơi tại ai cả to tiết chẳng bao nhiêu nơi là thừa việc bây giờ đấy dừng về chỉ rún dừng về dừng bị bọt bị sọt gì nên người ta bọt sọt giống việc ở chọc này nên là to từ một tiết. Any more question? No.
No more. So can you go back that screen again? I can have short screen.
Trong present perfect nó kia phải nhận nhau là bong cua thì nào chứ bạn được ra dương và xa pra hắn có khơi tràn này. Okay, done bóng.
Done, sure. Thank
All
you.
right. So firstly, in the beginning of the class, I thought I planned to have your speaking project number 3 done today, but I could not because of the time constraint. So next week we will. This is our plan. Saturday next week we will do the speaking project 3 together. Everyone, including others as well, if they come. You plan, you discuss, and you will do it to just one day together. Okay, just like you did with Wood and Saget last time. Not only that.
Okay, sure.
Saturday, chẳng hay, job Saturday, Sunday, tất cả nó cứ như nằm bị cho từ mười điển tí buồn mà ra những đọ xong từ mười điển sầm khăn này, để sao mười điển tí buồn thì sầm khăn cái lại writing. So I will pick only writing on from the unit 4 and discuss together. Chọn thằng bận gì mà.
We speaking about what, sir?
But next week, the speaking project 3 is going to be about change. Still, you're talking about change, but in terms of group discussion, not in terms of presentation. Then group discussion, it's easier. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will introduce you, because there are only 2 of you, and next week when your classmate come, I will need to introduce one more time. So that's why I just keep and introduce, next week together. All right. So, anything? Any problems?
No.
No. Oh, no, right?
No, Chair.
Okay, so there's no, I will end the class a bit early. You can enjoy your lunch and see you on Saturday next week.
Thank you, Chair.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See you.